What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to talk about with you guys, this time actually revolving around the Los Angeles Lakers, with it currently being reported that Mario Chalmers wants to join the Lakers and play a point guard. He obviously, spoke about this on social media by saying, sounds like the Lakers need another point guard. Been patiently waiting and working. Mario Chalmers ready to be signed by the Lakers. Rajon Rondo, for those of you who didn't know, actually suffered a fractured thumb and will be out for about 6 to 8 weeks, and that was being reported by Shams. So I think this is a very, very interesting move by the Los Angeles Lakers. But in my opinion, there are definitely a lot better point guards to potentially sign over Mario Chalmers that are currently, free agents in the NBA right now. I mean, like, if you were, really needing that backup point guard, would you really want, him to be Mario Chalmers, who's 34 years of age? It doesn't have, he's definitely fallen on a lot of things. He hasn't been on an NBA team since 2018. So I definitely think there would be, a lot more players that could definitely, want to join and potentially get on the team. For example, one of those players is actually Isaiah Thomas. I definitely think Isaiah Thomas is, ready to come back to a different team. But honestly, I don't know if that's necessarily what LeBron James really needs. In my opinion, what LeBron James really needs is, a player to handle the ball and play make. For example, Rajon Rondo is a very good playmaker, and the reason they've decided to keep him and bring him onto the team is to, make up for when LeBron James is, coming off the bench, when he goes off and they need someone to come off the bench, they're going to need a lot more, point guard duties and kind of take the playmaking that LeBron, does have, and when he leaves the floor, he obviously leaves. So again, that's why Rajon Rondo is a very, very good fit for the Lakers, because he makes up for the playmaking that is not on the Lakers floor when LeBron James is on there. And that's why I think they need to go out and sign another player like him, which I don't really know if Isaiah Thomas fits that mold. I feel like Isaiah Thomas is a very, very heavy scorer, and I think what the Lakers need to do is get a point guard that can defend and playmaking. And one point guard that I actually think would be a very, very interesting idea, but would be a very, very hard player to obviously come across, and it was literally almost impossible at this point to get this player, but I'd still think he would be absolutely perfect for the Lakers, and that's actually Matthew Dellavedova. Now, before you guys, turn off the video and be like, what? Matthew Dellavedova, Isaiah Thomas is probably better than him. You're probably right. Matthew Dellavedova, Isaiah Thomas could actually possibly be better than Matthew Dellavedova, but Dally is the perfect player for what the Lakers need now that Rajon Rondo is injured. The Lakers need, veteran leadership, playmaking, and defense, and that's all three qualities that Rajon Rondo had, and now that he's injured, they desperately need to find, and Matthew Dellavedova is perfect at all those things. And what people don't actually know is Dally was like going off when the NBA, when the NBA stopped. For example, when the NBA, before the NBA stopped and all that type of stuff, I believe Darius Garland actually got injured for quite a bit of amount of time, and I believe Dally had a couple games where he was getting over like 7 assists per game, and I'm pretty sure, he was playing like 30 minutes starting at the point guard, playing with Colin Sexton, and the Cavs actually started to win games, and I believe they actually have a pretty decent record with JB Bickerstaff and Andre Drummond in about 30 minutes per game. I think Dally was getting like 8 points per game and like 7 assists on very good defensive numbers. So again, I think he would be a perfect player for the Lakers to come across. The reason why I think it's practically impossible, though, is he is on a contract worth about $9 million, and it does have, it does expire at the end of the season, but the Cavaliers are very, very likely to bring back Matthew Dellavedova, as he's a great leader for them, and he's just a great veteran NBA player that I know a lot of teams would love to have on their team as a, a player on the minimum. A couple of teams like that could include the Lakers now that he's, Rajon Rondo's injured. I know that the Golden State Warriors would definitely love a player of, Matthew Dellavedova's caliber. And I just think that, again, the only way where I see this is if the Lakers persuade the Cavs to kind of let them have a buyout, and then, you know, Daly actually wants it, but then maybe Daly comes back in free agency and has a third stint at Cleveland. That's literally the only way I could see this happening, because there's no way the Cavs are going to, you know, let Daly walk and then not have him back next season. They definitely want him back next season. I would 100% presume, you know, to give that leadership and much needed defense and playmaking that the Cavs do lack. And obviously Daly was playing really, really good at the end of the season, so I definitely think that the Lakers would have to convince, you know, the Cavs. What they would probably have to do is they'd have to get on terms with Daly and probably, you know, just say to Daly, well, hold on, you gotta, you know, you can come join us and you can come in the playoffs, but, you know, Daly would probably have to say, well, I want to go back to the Cavs after this though, and then obviously that would make a lot of sense. But obviously I just don't see a world where that ever happens, so I don't think that's really going to happen. But I think Daly would be a perfect fit for the Lakers, and if they can persuade Cavs to do a buyout, that would be absolutely awesome. And I just don't think Chalmers is really, you know, the type of player that the Lakers need. Like, you know, the Mario Chalmers, the thing he specialized in his career was being a point guard that can shoot. I mean, when he played with LeBron and the Miami Heat, look at the 2012-13 season, he was 40% from 3. I don't think the Lakers need shooting at all. They've already got KCP and Danny Green, who are both in their starting lineup. In my opinion, I definitely think KCP is one of their most important players, and they literally bring him off the bench. But I think when playoffs come around, they might just look to start him, because obviously, yeah, I think that would be a pretty interesting move, especially now that Avery Bradley's not playing. I definitely expect to see KCP start. You've already got those two players who are great shooters, and again, I just don't think you need another player like Mario Chalmers. You've also got J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters, who are both shooters as well. So, you know, saying those 4 players, what's the point of Mario Chalmers? I don't really think there is one. But I definitely do think they need to sign a point guard now that Rajon Rondo is injured. And, you know, again, they have filled out Avery Bradley's spot by signing J.R. Smith. So they're pretty right when it does come to guard/wings. But when it comes to the point guard, I definitely think that they need to kind of, yeah, bring in another player. And I honestly believe if they somehow convince the Cavs to let Daly walk in a buyout or something like that, that would be the most perfect, really, chance that they could get on getting a player like Rajon Rondo, who's, you know, great at defense, great at leadership, and can play make at the same time. Again, Daly's possibly the only player I could definitely see kind of fulfilling that role, and I might even make a separate video on just why the Los Angeles Lakers should potentially sign Matthew Dellavedova. And obviously, again, he's played with LeBron, so I think it'd be a very good decision. But let's talk about the positives for a second. At least, you know, if they do get Mario Chalmers, that does add quite a bit of shooting. Like, even when his last season, last couple of seasons, he was pretty bad. I mean, he didn't exactly shoot that well at all. 32% one season with Memphis and 27% one season, but that's not necessarily his fault. One of the things that sometimes great shooters need is actually a playmaker with them. And, you know, again, players like Kyle Korver, they need their big forwards like LeBron James and, you know, again, Giannis to be pretty effective. It's, you know, playmaking, and I'd say big forwards is what a lot of shooters do need. And again, KCP and Danny Green and J.R. Smith have, you know, really been great with LeBron for so long, you know, especially this season. And then you got, as well, the fact that Mario Chalmers, again, I think that his percentage would definitely go up if he was to partner back up with LeBron. I mean, look at the drop-off. When LeBron left, when he was playing with LeBron, he was on a 38% throughout the season. That is absolutely insane. And then when LeBron left to the Cavs, that 38.5% dropped to a 29% three-point, you know, accuracy. So again, it just shows that with great playmaking, a lot of players can be very, very effective, and I definitely think Mario Chalmers is one of those prime examples. But yeah, again, I still think Daly would be a perfect option, but I just don't see a way in the world where the, you know, Cavs actually let Daly go, unless he was to return the following season after the playoffs. I could see that, but yeah, I really, really doubt that Daly would even want to leave the Cavs at all, even for a small stint with the Lakers. But who really knows? Maybe he might want to get another ring. And again, I don't think the Cavs are really close to a ring for a couple years. So I think it's going to be extremely interesting to potentially see what's obviously going to happen. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA news and NBA content. Don't forget to comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts and opinions on the Lakers, you know, potentially bringing in in Mario Chalmers. Do you guys think they should do it, or do you guys think the Lakers should try and go out and get Matthew Dellavedova, or maybe another point guard? Again, I definitely would really like to know your thoughts and opinions on what point guard that might be. But as I was saying, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.